said, why can't we talk about every other country, but when it's time to talk about Israel, there is a problem.
Yeah.
So then everything started to click. And I said, something is off here. Why, I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
And what happened was, all of a sudden, I kind of understood that anti-Zionism is really antisemitism. If you claim that the Jews have no right to the land, you really are not a Jew-friendly. It wasn't the same thing, but now it's clear. It's clear as night and day that it's the same thing. So I just have this feeling like the more they hate us, the more I want to fight, and the more I want to, get us united, and I want us to be proud of who I am, and who I am, and who we are as a people.
In every generation, it has people who inherit freedom and others who remember what it cost. Today's guest was born in the Soviet Union, like myself. She and her parents eventually immigrated to Israel. Since then, her journey has included the March of the Living, walking beside Dov Hikind, meeting Israel's Prime Minister, ViZionaries. Today we go beyond the headlines to explore courage, identity, leadership, and purpose. I hope I didn't miss anything.
Yeah. So the competition is still going, so you can vote for me.
Wow.
It ends in August 23rd. So until then, you can vote for your 25 nominees.
It's fantastic.
And it'll be a big honor for me to get it, not just because of it's a title, because I really believe in our people. I want us to succeed. I want us to be united, strong, and that's why I'm here today. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for being here. Tell us a little bit about yourself, maybe a little bit about your background and how you grew up, and then what led you on this incredible journey.
Sure. So like you mentioned, I was born in Moscow. Couldn't be more Russia than that. So
yes.
When I was young, the Iron Curtain fell, and my family was lucky to move to Israel.
Wow.
Some of the family moved to America. So later we united. We moved to Israel. I had an amazing upbringing. Really, really not boring at all. A lot of nature, a lot of Israel. Religiously, we were traditional, secular, not anti-Judaism, but we also weren't religious. So that has been another journey, coming back to Judaism, which happened later on. But I remember myself growing up. I think I was always passionate.
Wow.
I was, I think, a teenager, and there was some conversation about returning the Golan Heights. And then I've heard there's a demonstration about not returning the Golan Heights. So I went on it. And then there was other, Jerusalem Day, where we marched around Jerusalem carrying flags, while, the other side, some of the Arab neighbors in Jerusalem weren't so happy to see the march going. I remember that feeling of not quite understanding. I was pretty young and a teenager. Why do they hate us so much? What did we do? We're just Jews that want to live in the land of our ancestors. And I didn't quite understand the conflict then. But I just knew that I was always proud of being a Jew. So it didn't, I didn't always was a religious Jew, but I was proud of being a Jew and an Israeli.
That's incredible. And the fact that, how old were you when you moved to Israel, by the way?
So I was 6.
Wow.
So I spent my entire childhood in Israel.
It's incredible. So, I could relate to you. I was born in the Soviet Union. I was born in a place called Tashkent. And then we were having such a difficult time. I remember my parents would lose their jobs every few months just because they were Jewish. Antisemitism got really bad, and at one point we had a choice whether it was going back to Israel or going back or come to the States. So half the family came to Israel and the other half moved here, and so I can relate to you. I was actually 7, the only child, and we moved here into New York, Brooklyn, and now we're in this community, thank God. So I'm very blessed, and I know I can relate to you on a lot of things. I would love to hear a little bit about your experiences, especially your experience with Dov Hikind.
Yeah. So So years later, we'd moved to America to unite with the family members who left Russia and moved here. So we moved to New York, and I went to college because that's the age that I moved here. I went to John Jay of Criminal Justice. I was at the time working as a police cadet at NYPD.
Wow.
Kind of wanted that direction. And then I decided to take an internship in Albany in the New York State Assembly. And at the time, worked for another assemblywoman from Brooklyn. And she said, and I wasn't, mind you, I wasn't religious at all and wasn't much involved in Jewish organizations. I was, focusing on my studies, on working, and wanted to see where that leads me. And then the assemblywoman, she's like, I want you to meet someone. And I said, okay, sure. And then she introduced me to Dov. At the time, he was still working as an assemblyman. And I think that really changed my life. So I began, having a connection with Dov and his family. I would visit them for Shabbat meals. And I got very inspired by the strength of Dov and his wife and how much they're dedicated to the Jewish people.
Wow.
And I really got to know them, and I got to know Dov and how much he was instrumental in bringing the Russian Jewry out. Like, we know we came out, we were kids, but we don't know what led to that, because for many years, for decades, the Jews could not come out.
Right.
During the communism, and we couldn't be really practicing Judaism so freely in Russia, as you know. So
Wow.
Dov was one of the leading voices for Soviet Jewry. All that, things you read in history, that was Dov. And
Wow.
he got arrested for it many times. And he did whatever it takes so you and I can live free as Jews. And 3.5 million Russian Jews could leave Russia. So
Wow.
that was incredible for me to learn that and to
Yeah.
meet him. And then later on, I had worked for his wife as well. She has an incredible organization called Teret Kohanim. They buy properties in the old city in East Jerusalem. And they buy and then they settle in Jewish families.
Wow.
And then I also worked for him at Americans Against Antisemitism. We marched on the Brooklyn Bridge together, and that was prior to COVID. The time when anti-Semitism started.
It's incredible. It's
So-
incredible. Wow. How did you, I'm just so fascinated and curious about how, you got into this world of, first of all, I'd love to talk to you about how you met the Prime Minister of Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu, but also how you got so heavily involved in being such a big advocate for Jews, for Israel, and your community. You do a lot of things.
Sure. Yeah, well, it started back in college. I always had a passion for making a difference, making a change, and I thought I wanted to work for an organization like at the UN, and until I realized how much they are not friendly to Jews, quite the contrary.
Right.
And I was, doing some political leadership in college until I wanted to, we spoke about different countries, and then I wanted to present something about Israel. And then I saw the reaction of my friends. Mind you, it was a very long time ago, like 20 years ago. And I saw the reaction, and I didn't understand why. And I said, why can't we talk about every other country, but when it's time to talk about Israel, there is a problem? So then everything started to click. And then I said, something is off here. I was like, I'm going to get to the bottom of this.
Yeah.
Then I got involved with a great organization called RAGE,
Wow.
Russian
Yes.
American Jewish Experience, and Chabad and Aish. All happened at the same time, but RAGE started it. What happened was, all of a sudden, I kind of understood that anti-Zionism is really anti-Semitism. If you claim that the Jews have no right to the land, you really are not a Jew-friendly, and we know that now. Back then, it was still a secret. It wasn't the same thing, but now it's clear. It's clear as night and day that it's the same thing. Why do they show up in front of synagogues? Because it's all the same. It's not about Israel. It's about hating Jews. So I just have this feeling like the more they hate us, the more I want to fight, and the more I want to, get us united, and I want us to be proud of who I am, and
Wow.
who I am, and who we are as a people.
It's incredible. You have to be a strong person to do that. And I think it takes someone like you to say, I've been through difficulties and hardships, and you saw it back in the Soviet Union. And here you have a chance to say, you could say two things. You know what? It's very sensitive. People don't want to talk about Israel. Okay, fine. Maybe I'll just keep it to myself. But you're going above and beyond, and you're saying, no, I want to unite our people and create, a sense of love, a sense of unity. And it's just, the things that you do is really, I could see why you're one of the visionaries in the year 2026. It's really fantastic. So very, very impressive. Can you talk a little bit about your personal experiences, perhaps maybe something that you were able to accomplish in the last couple of years, it could be a decade, that you felt like, wow, I'm so proud of this moment in time where you're able to do something, whether you're working with somebody in your community, outside of your community, working with somebody, one of the politicians, mayors, governors, anybody that you can think of, maybe something that comes to mind.
Yeah, I mean, there's I can go a little personal. I can go, a little more professional.
Totally.
Yeah, on a personal front, I had some challenges with my daughter. She became ill when she was younger, and it was a kind of like a life changing event. And I had two choices. So I either, stay home all day and cry because of the significant injury, or I do the best I can for her and for myself and for my other children, and pick myself up. And I chose to do that because
Wow.
I feel it's like parallel to our people. You know how our people are resilient? Like, how can you experience what we experienced in the Holocaust, in October 7th, in all the persecutions, in trying to take our identity in Russia by not letting us be Jews, and still rise up from the ashes and create and build and grow, because I think it's in our DNA. Like,
yes.
We are not just survivors, we're thrivers. So,
Wow.
and I feel it in everything I do. So whether it's my personal life, and I try to take ownership and leadership. I've started a few organizations, chapters in the community. I felt like there is a need, and I believe in it, and I want to help others, and someone has to do it. So
Incredible. Professionally.
And professionally the same. Like I was lucky to work for big giants. I worked for Michael Bloomberg,
Wow.
and different politicians. I had the opportunity working with Dove and Shani, and also worked in some other bigger organizations like the Federation. So kind of have the angles of big and small organizations. And right now I'm involved with also a few organizations, and one of my favorite ones is the Zionist Organization of America. So I was more recently, last year, I ran for the Zionist Congress under their slate, and I was an elected alternate. So I got to go to the Zionist Congress in Jerusalem. So that felt like being part of history. It's 39 Zionist Congress since before the state was established. That's when it started. And I'm also grateful for the Zionist Organization of America for inviting me to a very small meeting with the Prime Minister.
Wow.
Yeah, so meeting the Prime Minister was amazing. I mean, I've met a lot of celebrities, working with politicians, and also a contributor to the Jewish Link. So, I do a lot of events with politicians and organizations. I'm going to one tonight.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
How do you find the time? And how do they even find you to allocate so many different events that you are a part of, politicians you connect with? I'm sure somebody watching could say, wow, I would love to get involved. Somebody, it could be a guy, a girl, anybody in any age and stage can watch this and say,
Right.
I would love to get involved with our politicians in the Zionist movement, in the movement of helping Yidden, helping Jews be united, create more knowledge, education, be a part of the events?
Right. So there's a lot of opportunities. I think it's especially important for young people to get involved because we need a base. We can't, our young people need to feel inspired,
Yes.
but also know that they can achieve so much if they just tap into his Jewish strength. So whatever a young person's interest is, they can try to hone it down. And there are my favorite organizations, obviously the ones that don't conform to the mainstream, and like the Zionist Organization of America holds that Jews need to be in Judea and Samaria. And we're not going to back down.
Wow.
There's no way for a two-state solution. So my favorite organizations are the ones who have really strong principles. But it's really important for young Jews to get involved, to be part of this Jewish story. And there's so many ways, especially also like to go and to volunteer in Israel. There's so many great opportunities to work the land. There's farms who need volunteers, because since October 7th, they don't bring a lot of the outside employees are not able to come in to Israel because they're scared from the Philippines and other places.
Oh.
And since they also don't want to bring employees from the Palestinian Authority because of fear, creates a lot of shortage. So there is so much opportunity for young people to get involved. If you've never been to Israel, go on Birthright. If you've been to Israel,
Go again.
go on a mission, volunteer, be involved, feel like you are connected, because we are so small, but at the same time we're so large. And every single Jew counts. Every single vote counts when you go to vote.
Yes.
Every single Jew counts. If we all tap into that, we will be really unstoppable.
Yes. I was sitting with a few Rebbeim in Esha Torah when I first became more religious, also back 20 years ago. I think I went to Israel with Akiva, with Rage, Birthright. I kept going every couple of years. And as I was sitting there, I was listening. They were saying how, I think it was one of the Discovery seminars, they're talking about how in today's generation, so many Jews are completely assimilating, and we're losing, I don't know how many millions, they said, 1 million a year or more. It's so sad to me to know that, so many of our brothers and sisters are assimilating and just completely dropping their Jewish identity. Partly, I wish we could do something about it to bring more awareness. And that's why I always like to ask the question of maybe there's something we could do. We're simple people, but maybe there's some, like you said, we're small, we're large, but also mighty and powerful. I feel like when the Jewish people are united, there's a lot of things that can happen. And it's not what you know, it's who you know, and it's the connections. Perhaps there's something you can recommend for anyone who's watching who's not connected with, like you said, go on Birthright. Maybe there's other ways to get involved as well.
I mean, I think it's really important to get the kids involved, to start young, when they're young. Take them to Chabad. The Chabad is I think they're amazing because unlike some other organizations, Chabad have shown that through love and care, you can get anyone just feeling that spark.
Yeah.
And that's all you need, because sometimes people could have negative experience with Orthodox Jews, but
It's true.
And unfortunately that could push them away as well. But if you go to the Chabad route, there's nowhere to lose. So start with the kids. If they go to public school, make sure they go to a Sunday school, but not just like a Sunday school where it won't be meaningful.
Right.
Take them to a Chabad one when they feel a connection, where they feel like they could feel like that spark.
Okay.
And once they feel that spark, that would move them forward, and then and then again, connect to some sort of a community, like where you live, connect to that Chabad or to a shul or to an organization where you're at. Or if someone has, interest, they can always connect with the Zionist organization of America.
Absolutely, and I'll put that in the show notes. I'm going to list all the organizations you're a part of.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to get involved, contribute in any way, it would be fantastic. Rivka, I was thinking, as we're speaking, what would you say is the most significant and most meaningful, purposeful project that you were a part of? Or maybe something that you're most proud of?
I mean, there's a few. I think going to March of the Living, going to Auschwitz, I think that helped me personally with my Judaism. I wasn't observant, but being there, seeing the destruction, I know it's not for everyone, but personally for me, walking in Auschwitz and kind of like imagining how our brothers and sisters felt. And unfortunately, we are, experienced October 7th, so there is a lot of ways for people to connect. I mean, I think I've heard it from so many people who weren't connected to their Judaism. Even my friend, radio host Sid Rosenberg, he says that before October 7th, he wanted to be more like an Italian, but he just said it today, so I'm repeating it. But then he said after October 7th, that spark just like, they want to destroy us for one simple reason. It's not the land.
No.
It's not the politics. One reason, because of who we are, because of our essence, because we're Jews, because we're bringing morality to this world, and they can't handle it. That's why they want to eradicate it. And if we manage, to connect others to this, to make them feel, to understand, I think there's no better way than going to Israel, than experiencing it for yourself. If someone has a strong heart, they can go and see, kind of like down south, some of the communities, and speak with some of the people to see what they've gone through. I was just there in November during the Congress trip on the Zionist Congress, and they took us down south, and it was really powerful. It was sad, but for me, like, it's a resilience. Yeah, we can be sad and happy at the same time. I think that is the enormous gift of the Jewish people. Yeah, last year I brought this movie, Tragic Awakening. It's about the cause underlying cause of antisemitism, and I think that's another thing that people should watch. If they watch that, they will understand the essence of anti-Semitism. And you can't just fight it like the ADL fights it. It's not going to work by making, another conference. Conference are fun, and it's nice to meet fellow Zionists, but it has to be a deeper change. It has to be a change from within, where we make our people proud, we make our people united. When we know our essence, and I think when that happens, things would shift. We can't conquer. We can't, send $1 million to Gaza, and say, "Oh, we feel sorry for them." No, because they want to destroy us. Why would we send them money? Because we feel sorry that they're intense. They have caused that on themselves. They have chosen Hamas over and over and over.
Right.
And
yes.
And so we can't be compassionate on the people who want to kill us. So there is no way to have a two-state solution with the person who wants to kill you. So we have to be strong and not give up our principles. And I think when that happens, when we get that inner strength, then we can move on and we can fight anti-Semitism.
It's such a crazy world we're living in, and crazy times, where you see so much anti-Semitism like on the rise right now. After October 7th, you would think that, so many Jews were slaughtered, and it's crazy, everything that these families have gone through, and there's so much criticism going on Israel. So, and some people are saying, but you realize that these people want to live together in peace with your Jewish neighbors, and a lot of people are getting confused. Even like the secular Jewish people or anybody really watching could say, yeah, Israel is really now going overboard. They're like attacking schools. Do you feel that any of this has weight? And do you ever have time, like there's somebody, Tovia Singer, I don't know if he ever has a time, he has like these conversations and debates with Christians and Muslims, but have you ever had debates with other people that are very pro-Palestinian?
Yeah.
And how do you address that?
I mean, I think a lot of them don't really know the facts. They don't really know history. They've never been to Israel. They get their information from TikToks and from social media, from influencers who want to get likes for being anti-Israel. Because now it's fashionable, and I know my truth,
right.
and I know. I've been there, I've seen it, I've learned history, but you're not going to convince the people that hate us to love us. So
right.
I'm concerned about the people that don't know. Like, I want to reach out to my fellow, gym goers. Like, they don't know any better. Like,
right.
And I want to show them, I know. So I want to expose the truth and show how, for years we tried to have peace with them. The communities who were attacked the most down south, they were the most of all who were trying to make peace. They would bring those Palestinians to their home, would hire them, they would give them gifts, they would take them to the hospitals, and they believed in peace. It was in a community in the border of Gaza called, the name is just escaping me, but they have a peace wall in there. It's not a real wall, it's like a art decorative. It would attract a lot of tourists right on the border of Gaza. And unfortunately, they were also hurt, on October 7th. And you would think, gave them every opportunity, but it doesn't work. Like, they don't have those values because of the indoctrination of the little kids. Like, if you teach your child to hate more than love, like if you teach them that dying and killing Jews is your ultimate destination and the ultimate reward, like, how can we expect that these people are going to grow up and be something different?
But is that what they're actually taught from a young age, to hate Jews?
You didn't know?
So I mean, I know that a lot of there's these crazy groups out there that, terrorist groups and groups that are indoctrinating their kids and brainwashing their kids. But I didn't know that every single child is really taught that way. Wow.
Every single child. There's a lot of videos out there, but
it's awful.
Yeah, every single child, from the moment they're born, they have one goal and one goal only, is to be a shahid and kill as many Jews as possible. Like Fauda? You ever watch Fauda? Yeah. Is it very accurate? It's pretty accurate. Yeah, they it's not something I think Western people can understand, this mentality. Wow. Of giving birth to a child and training that child to be killed and kill as many people as possible. It's you've heard The Green Prince. He depicts it very accurately. Yes. He knows exactly. He was part of that crew. How it goes. Great guy, though. Great guy. Yeah. So. Have you met him? I haven't met him yet, but I'm sure our path will cross. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Growing up in the Soviet Union, we saw many challenges, but this, to hate Jews, yes, we've seen that, and we weren't able to practice, but this is, I think, one of the worst ways to hate somebody, is just to kill them and to kill themselves. It's just so sad that people don't want to live in peace. To me, it's very sad that people would want to completely destroy their own families, destroy their own lives, and destroy other people's lives. And I don't think any Jewish person thinks like that. By nature, I think we're all peacemakers. We want to live in peace. We want to give love. There's no person or, I think, religion in the world, like I would say freely, like the Jewish people, that have so many organizations to give, chesed, organizations to do good for other people, go out to other countries, donate their time, effort, energy. So it's really sad what's going on in the world. And unfortunately, I see a lot of Jewish people, supporting these and going on these, pro-Palestinian, pro-Hamas
what do they call them?
Groups.
Yeah, the groups that go out there and just like, and I don't know. I wish there was a way really for people my age and older, younger to just get involved and do more work that is meaningful and, like you said, opening people's eyes.
Yeah, I think so. And I think everyone this day and age has, social media, maybe not everyone, but most people, some sort of social media. And it's important to not stay silent, because being silent in a way it's complacent. If you see something is wrong, or even exposing Mamdani and his nonsense and pass it on. Like there's a petition right now that he shouldn't be allowed at Ground Zero, and already gained like 50,000 votes in like a few days.
Wow.
So that's something that it's easy to do, maybe, and it's not a big deal to people, but it is, because the more voices we have, you'll see that it's not an insignificant number of people that are up against him. So we have to fight. That's the only thing we have. Like President Trump said, fight, fight, fight. Like,
that's it. Yes.
We can't back down. We can't stay silent, and we can't be afraid. And I think one of the things they're trying to do is to make us afraid. It's not. We're strong people. We have not only we bring our strength from our history, but from our Torah. I love, seeing our people, get together and stand up for what we believe in. We can see it in Israel, obviously.
Right.
We're not Jews with trembling knees. That's like Menachem Begin said that. We are not going to back down. We're going to fight, and we're going to fight because we know the truth.
Wow. Thank you so much. I'm going to put everything that we spoke about in the show notes, especially some of the videos you mentioned. I'm so thankful that you were able to come do the podcast with me. Your journey is fascinating. And I find that, if this conversation can help one person, inspire them, give them knowledge on how to get involved, how to do more good, how to be united, and see the world as it is, perhaps that can change the world in some way. So.
Yeah. And if anyone wants to get in touch with me, they can message me on Facebook, Rivka Sons, and just say, I want to get involved in something, and I'll respond.
Fantastic. There's always a lot to do. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure.